All praises unto the Most High. We give him thanks unto thee, Father, for thou art merciful and kind unto thy people. We give thanks unto thee, Father, for you are worthy to be praised. All praises unto thee. Hear, O Israel, our Lord, our God is one. Now, Israel, this is telling times that we're in right now. You know what I mean? Real times of, of tests, and right now we are in exam time. If we don't realize that, no, when we were going through, our life during that period, that was us going to class, right? And learning from life, which is our teacher, and then as we went along now, we found out that, oh, the book that we should be studying from to really know what life is about and our existence and who we are and where everything really started, and so on and so forth. So by having the Bible now, which is, I call it you know the holy book. Let's use that word because it's holy. Not only a holy book, but also a history book. You know, and also a book of teaching principles, and also a book of the law, which is the law of who? Your maker, your creator, right? And by studying that book, you will be able, more better equipped, I should say, to deal with these tests that we are coming into right now, to see if that we can pass these tests, we shall get our reward for doing so, right? So it's deep, Israel. It's, you know, as simple as that, as using I would say, an illustration or an example, just to give you insight or oversight to all what is, basically taking place right now. Now, I am using my other platform here, on YouTube to bring forth this lesson today. Reason being is because my original channel has been suspended again for basically, giving information. I am not putting up anything which is derogatory. I am not, you know, you know, professing anybody to be, you know, hurt or killed. You know, I'm only edifying. But that's how it is. You will, as you know, people of the Most High, children of the Most High. This is going to be a part of that test, which I spoke about earlier. And by going through this test, we're in this exam time right now. So, we really need to really study. Because if you don't study, you won't pass. And as simple as that. You don't study your book, you won't pass your exams. And this information here I'm bringing forth now, is basically one of the dosage that we have been getting. Because I have to be politically correct right now, because I can't be saying anything it look like, which is not politically correct or it's not fitting the status quo. Whoa. So this dosage, which I'm going to play, this video. So this is taken from BBC News. So obviously it's not my news; it's BBC News because obviously I've been using all the things from reputable platforms. It's not hearsay or anything like that. So I mean, it's from their guidelines. I don't understand their guidelines, but anyways, um, this is a dosage which, at the moment, few countries are basically saying, they have to be, you know, keeping an eye to this because it seems like it's not going as though they want it to go. So hey, it's not me saying it, it's, these other people are saying it. So I'm just bringing forth the information, you know what I mean? I'm only the messenger. I don't know why they keep trying to shoot after the messenger. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's a thing where, you need somebody to poke. No pun intended, you know what I mean? Hey, so let's get into it now, Israel, right? I'll be going to the scriptures today as well, as usual, to edify. That's all I do. And to give you this word from the Most High to let you know that, by studying these words, reading them, it will really benefit you. And I can't really say that enough, it's truly as simple as that, you know what I mean? You should meditate in the word day and night. This is what the Father tells you, and it shall bring you great success. So if you want a success in your exams to pass this exam that we're in right now, which is a test, you need to meditate in that word, right? So let me quickly go to my disclaimer. So, I was using this information here from BBC just for edification purposes and to, enlighten. Nothing else, no profit, no nothing, you know what I mean? No anything ill will, if they want to say, really about really doing the work of the Most High, right? So this is my disclaimer, fair use, all right? So with that said, all right, I'm just gonna go straight into the video because I think I've already, talked enough about that. So let's get into it, Israel. It's as simple as this, we are really in a time where we need to be very observant. That's all I can really say. You know what I mean? And decisions that you make are really up to you. No one else can make your decision for you but you. You know what I mean? So it's really up to you. And the choice is yours. So the Father gave us that free will. But by saying that, you must know that the Father has laws. And if you don't work with these laws, it can be to your, I would say, discomfort. Let's use that as a nice word. As well, this dosage I'm going to speak about is actually in the Caribbean first country, Jamaica, and also, it seems like it's being questioned. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying what the news is saying, not me. You know what I mean? So let's get into it.
The biggest member states of the European Union have now joined the list of nations questioning the performance of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Germany, France, Spain and Italy are all taking the precautionary measure of suspending use of the vaccine because of fears about possible side effects, including blood clots. The AstraZeneca vaccine has already been suspended in the Netherlands, Ireland, Iceland, Bulgaria, Denmark and Norway. Now, the World Health Organization, along with the EU's very own medicines regulator, say that there is no justification for this temporary ban, and leading British scientists insist that the vaccine is safe. Our medical editor, Fergus Walsh, has the latest.
And is the AstraZeneca vaccine today okay?
Good.
A public display of confidence in the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine from Northern Ireland's chief medical officer today. Well done. By contrast, you can't have the jab in the Irish Republic, in France, Germany, and a growing list of EU countries which have temporarily suspended its use.
This is a safe, effective vaccine as recommended by MHRA. And let's remember, this virus kills people my age, younger people and older people. And the benefit is strongly in favour of people getting this vaccine at this time.
The EU vaccine rollout was already lagging well behind that of the UK. France has said it'll wait for a safety analysis from the European Medicines Agency due tomorrow before deciding whether to restart using the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
The decision,
which is being taken, is to suspend, as a precaution, vaccinating with the AstraZeneca vaccine, in the hope that we can resume quickly if the opinion of the European Medicines Agency allows.
10 European countries have temporarily suspended all use of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine pending safety investigations. Germany, Italy, France, Spain and the Netherlands are the latest. Ireland paused at the weekend following Denmark, Norway and Iceland. Several other EU countries, including Austria, have stopped using certain batches of the vaccine. That still leaves several EU nations using the jab, which has been approved in over 70 countries around the world. AstraZeneca says more than 17 million people in the UK and European Union have now had its vaccine, and fewer than 40 cases of blood clots have been reported. It says the risks of having a clot are significantly lower among those who've been vaccinated compared to the general population.
We know that blood clots are remarkably common, and we'd expect them to happen in 1 to 2 people per 1,000 per year, which is actually a very large number and much, much higher than the sorts of levels that we're talking about in these particular reports.
Scientists in the UK are frankly baffled by the decisions made in the EU. There's concern that the pause in using the AstraZeneca jab will cost lives because people won't be protected from COVID, and that it will damage public confidence in a highly effective vaccine. Fergus Walsh, BBC News.
Let's talk a little more about this and join our Europe editor, Katja Adler, in Brussels. Katja, plenty of reports from across the EU of vaccine hesitancy, and it's getting worse in some areas. So this isn't going to help, is it?
Well, absolutely not. And if you think about the AstraZeneca jab, Hugh, there was already quite a lot of European hesitancy around it. And that is due to mixed messages from a number of European leaders earlier on in the year as to how efficient they thought the vaccine was for the over 65s. Add on into that the fact that many in mainland Europe, Hugh, are much more vaccine wary than the majority of the public in the UK. So yes, European governments say they realise how sensitive their decision is if they've decided to temporarily halt the rollout of the AstraZeneca vaccine. But they say actually they're trying to do it to restore public confidence, Hugh, while it's being investigated. So we're seeing country by country inside the EU and the rest of Europe making this decision, but they're waiting for a pan-European verdict. We heard that from Fergus, from the European Medicines Agency. And while it's investigating those reports of blood clots, Hugh, it says that it thinks that the virtues of the Oxford AstraZeneca virus far outweigh any risks because the EU needs vaccines. It doesn't have enough of them anyway, Hugh, because there's been problems with delivery, and even with the vaccines that the EU has, many countries have had lots of stumbling blocks with their national rollouts. The EU lags way behind the UK, the US, never mind Israel, with trying to get jabs into arms, and all of this while many European countries are facing the third wave of the coronavirus. Just look at Italy reintroducing restrictions just today.
Katja.
Yes, Israel, I'm telling you, it's real. Just bringing forward the information. So this is what the news is saying. They're saying that there is side effects to AstraZeneca, but at the same time they're saying, blah blah blah. I leave that decision up to you, right? I'm only bringing forward as well that this same dosage is now in Jamaica. So the people just need to know what they think is right to do. I am not telling you what to do. I'm just only giving you the information, right? Because I gotta be politically correct. Okay, so with that said, these are times of decision making, and times of tests. We're in examination time. Yeah, I mean, it's serious. So, I was going to the scriptures right now, and I was going to read starting from verse 8, but I'm going to read, quickly. I'm going to start on verse 1 for one particular reason. I'm going to read this more so for I would say, the government in Jamaica, the prime minister. Let me just narrow it down to that, right? And I think this word would go well if he listens, but let's see, I'm only here to give you the information and the word of the Most High. I'm only the messenger. People tend to want to shoot the messenger, but hey, I guess they need somebody to point at. So here we go. And this is dedicated to, I'd say, the governmental system, right? Now, listen. Right. Ecclesiastes 10, right? All right, cool. So it says here, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Now, prudent means you're wise, or you make good decisions. So let's see. Because right now I ain't gonna say anything. I'm just gonna say we are in times of test, examination time. So let me read verse 2. And the judge of a people himself, so are his officers, which you could say, are your MPs and your councillors and so forth and so on. And what manner of man ruleth what manner of man ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. I hope you understand that, Israel, because if you didn't, let me just, reiterate it again. Let's read it again. Now it's like this. As a judge of the people is himself, right? So as a judge of the people is him himself, right? So are his officers, okay? His constituency and all these people. And what manner of man ruleth of this city is, you know what I mean? Ruler of this city is. So whatever man of man, the ruler is of the city. Watch this. Such are all they that dwell therein. So same as the people, so should be the ruler of the city, right? But let's read on to verse 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be what? Inhabited. So an unwise king destroyeth his people. Now, I would say, let that be something for these, rulers of the city to sit down and meditate on. I think we should be starting to be a people of, meditating, because we really need to make some meditation, not make any decision that will cost you a wrong bound or an error on your exam. I'm just only saying. No, this is verse 8. We're jumping down, right? Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and righteous got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. I hope that's thinking in Israel. But family, this is the word of the Most High. Let's jump down to 9. Why is the earth as ash proud? There is not one more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such an one sitteth his own soul save. For such and one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. Right? So let's go into Israel. We're going into it. I'm going to read about to, verse 19. Right? Sorry. Right? So we're at number 10 now, right? And it reads, and I really want you to pay attention to verse 10 right here, right? The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. So Israel, I hope you listen to these words, because these words should really resonate and really stick fast into your heart, right? So let's read number 10 again. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. So let's see what happens when that occurs. For when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts, and worms. I don't think that's a really good thing, is it? No. So let's continue. The beginning of pride is when one departed from who? Your maker, your Elohim, your God, the creator. And his heart is turned away from his maker. Right? So the beginning of pride, when one departed from God. So Israel, in this time, you should really examine yourself to see, you're a person that has pride. Because I do see a lot of them out there, but I digress. Verse 13, for pride is the beginning of sin. And he that it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Most High brought up on them strange calamities, and overthrow them utterly. Mm, mm, mm. Verse 14, the Most High had cast down the thrones of the proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead. Now, Israel, I want you to really kind of pay attention to that right there, right? Because princes are like your governors, your prime ministers, your presidents, whatever government official, that word princes or prince, reference to that type of category, right? So the Most High had cast down the throne of the proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead. Who are the meek? You would say, I would say, the righteous. I would say, the people who obey and follow the commandments of the Most High, who are what? The disciples of Christ, right? So let's continue. The Most High had plucked up the roots of the proud nation, and planted the lowly in their place. Let's continue to 16. The Most High overthroweth the countries of the heathen, and destroyed them to the foundation of the earth. Now, you would say, why would the Most High do such a thing? Overthrow the countries and the heathens and destroy them to the foundation. That's some strong words, Israel. That sounds very, you know, very hard. So let's see why the Most High said. Let's go into it. He took some of them away and destroyed them, and had made their memorial to cease from the earth. So you're saying to yourself, why the Most High will repeat that this again and say, destroy them again and the memorial shall cease? All right, let's go. Jump down to 19. Let's see why. They that fear the Most High are a sure seed, and they that love him an honorable plant. They that regardeth not the law are a dishonorable seed, and they that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed. Now, that sounds very self-explanatory. That sounds very straightforward to me. It says, if you fear the Most High, you are a sure seed. And they that love him are honorable plants, just like the seed that is planted. Bam. Very straightforward. They that regard not the law is a dishonorable seed. So that comes down to where I was saying earlier. If we study the book which has the law in it, then we can know how to deal with this test, this exam that we're in, and then what will happen? More likely you're going to pass that test, right? But not just knowing it, but you have to know that part of that book tells you that you have to endure. So that means you have to really endure through that test, that exam that you're getting. You have to fight through it. You can't give up and say, well, man, I can't bother because you know what? Page 3 look kind of difficult. You know what I mean? I digress. So it says here, I'm going to read 20 just to kind of top it off, that among brethren, he that is a chief is honorable. So are they that fear the Most High in his eyes. So Israel, it really comes down to that. Fearing the Most High, regarding his law, and do not transgress the commandments. It's as simple as A, B to the C. All right? And you said to yourself, then, if I transgress the law or the commandments, what are those things when you do them? What are these things when you? Some people might not even know what it works out to be. Why would you regard it as even doing something sinful? So let's actually just quickly go to that before I splurt. So here we go. I'm going to go to Galatians 5, bam, and I'm going to go down to see 16. All right, so I'm going to read from 16 onwards. Okay, so Israel, check it out. The Most High is telling you here that if you are led by the Spirit, then you're in the right way. But if you're led by the flesh, then there is going to be an issue. Now, let me just read through because I want to not make this too long. So check it. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and he shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth after the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to another, so that he cannot do things that he would. But if he be led by the Spirit, he are under the law. Or let me read it again. Now, he are not under the law. Now, what that means is not to say that you're not to follow the law, but it means if you're led by the Spirit, then obviously you won't be transgressing the law, right? Simple. Now, check this. Now, the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery. Now, these are the sinful things now which are of the flesh: fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, all right? Let's scroll down. Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresy, envy, murder, drunkenness, reveling, and such alike, of which I tell you before, as have I also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. You won't. You won't inherit the kingdom. And that is part of the reward if you can make it through this test, this exam that you are going through right now. But check it out. But if you want to be in the right spirit, so you can have the right posture, so you can really overcome this exam that we're in right now, watch this. But the fruits of the spirit is love, joy, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. You see what I'm saying, Israel? So again, he's not saying that you're not to work with the law, but if you do these things, then you won't really have to worry about the law because you're already being a doer of the word and not just a hearer of the word. So you're not just hearing the word, but doing the word. So this is what it's actually about. It's like putting in whatever you're saying into practice, really. Right? You can't be telling somebody to live good and you're not doing it yourself, you know. You could call it even an oxymoron, you know, these words in it. So I'm going to top it up with verse 24, and it states, and they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the afflictions and lust. Now, Israel, I'm not going to say I'm perfect either. I do wrestle as well with the flesh. But what I do when I do realize that I'm doing something wrong, I do, make sure that I ask the Father for forgiveness and, change that outcome and try not to do it again. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that, you're not going to be tempted. That is going to come your way. Temptation is constant. You're not going to not get it because that's part of the trial. But it's the choice that you make. And that's what I'm really breaking it down to, is in everything that I've, bring forth in this, lesson today is to tell you that it's the choice that you make. And that choice is really and truly going to be up to you. You know what I mean? I only can bring you the information, but I can't force that information on you to make a decision. That decision is purely up to you, right? So with that, Israel, I'm going to say, it's been a blessing being here today, and I hope it has been edifying for you to where that it might help you as you go forward in this exam, right? So until I see you again, Israel, I would say have a blessed day. All praises unto the Most High, and I pray that the Father keeps you in good health and in His righteousness. Shalom, shalom.